Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Fighting and Finance podcast. I'm your host, Parsa Vahid. On today's episode, we have one half of the UFC's BMF title fight, Justin Gaethje, taking place on July 29th in Salt Lake City, Utah. We discuss his upcoming fight with the Diamond, Dustin Poirier, his apparel business, Onyx, and why the UFC and Onyx wasn't able to come to terms, and some other hilarious stuff that you'll just have to watch. I really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Fighting and Finance podcast. So Justin Gaethje, you don't really need much of an introduction. I think you're already a bad motherfucker, but you're fighting for this BMF belt. I will say, full discretion, full transparency, I don't love the idea of a BMF belt. I think as a competitor, someone who just loves the fucking sport of it.
Yeah.
In a weird way, for me, it tarnished it. However, seeing that first fight and now truly having watched you for the last year, like in live sparring and Dustin Poirier's career, this deserves a belt. I think it should be called something completely different, like the most fucking vicious, most badass fighter, fan favorite, something like that. But I'm happy that you are fighting for a belt. I'm curious from your perspective, how do you feel? How did you feel when that title of BMF was presented to you?
I mean, so like, from my stance, it really, didn't matter. The fight was going to be 3 rounds or 5 rounds. They wanted 5, and I was like, no, I'll do 3. If I get paid the same no matter what, so I'll do 3. And then they came with this opportunity, and I was, but ultimately is all that matters is what comes with it. And I think it's actually very rare occasion where the UFC throws a bone to us fighters. With this BMF championship is everything that comes with the championship in the UFC. You get a pay-per-view, cut of the pay-per-view. And so ultimately, business-wise, I think, it was exciting. I got paid, way more because of it, and solely because of it. And that's something the UFC didn't have to do. And so I think it's, when it happened with Diaz and Masvidal, I thought it was dumb. I still think it's dumb, but I think when I look at it from that perspective, I think it's awesome. And, and it's more rare than any other belt. And this is the entertainment industry, and that is what we do. Conor McGregor is the most paid athlete in this sport by far because of a specific reason.
Yes.
2 specific reasons. He's an amazing fighter, and, he's entertaining as hell. So those 2 things, perfect combination. So yeah, I think, like I said, business-wise, I think it's exciting, and how unique it is cool.
Yeah,
it's good. It's a cool story.
I'm happy for you. I think you're well deserving of it. I look at everything from a business perspective. I own a business. I work with business owners, and so, Dana White. If I'm in his shoes, it makes perfect sense business-wise. You guys are going to sell probably more than some of the champions on the roster.
Yeah, I mean, they're selling out every card. The UFC is in high demand right now, and they're raking it in. So, yeah, they can put anybody there. But, yeah, this is a fight that absolutely will sell out, as soon as tickets drop. Hopefully we get a bunch of people buying pay-per-views. And,
I'm going.
Yeah,
my wife is she was the news anchor for Telemundo Utah for 10 years. So she's kind of like a little public figure there. Yeah. So every time we would go on little dates, she would always, people would come up to her. So I'm excited to go back, see her family, come to your fight, enjoy the fight, and have a little weekend in Salt Lake.
Yep. The
altitude, thinking of Salt Lake, I remember when I first went and visited her, it's different.
Where were you living?
LA.
Okay, yeah, it's different. I mean, obviously, we have a little bit of an advantage living up here. We're higher than Salt Lake, by like 1,000 feet. So, but I think it's going to suck. I think it's going to suck bad. I think it's going to suck for everybody, as it always does. I remember going to a UFC fight here at the Pepsi Center when it was the Pepsi Center. And I don't remember specifically who the fighters were. I want to say it was Rampage and whoever he was fighting, but they both had their hands on knees, and they were just looking at each other like, dude, this is stupid.
I remember that one.
And I think it happened in more than one fight, actually, on that card.
I remember Poirier was on the Helwani show just a couple days ago, and they asked him about that, and he didn't seem to think it was as big of a deal, although he's incorporating hyperbaric chambers or trying to sleep at altitude and try to mimic it.
Yeah.
Do you think you can mimic being out here and breathing this mountain air with technology?
Well, I mean, right now we're at a disadvantage because we have the dirtiest air in the world.
Yeah. What's going on with that, by the way?
Smoke from Canada.
The fires?
Yeah, blame Canada.
It's
always.
crazy, horrible right now. It's
So,
horrible.
yeah, it's terrible. The unhealthiest in the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Jeez,
as a
Louise.
matter of fact.
Okay.
For now.
Hopefully that clears up.
Yeah. So, but I've dealt with this a few times. We always get smoke from California, Canada. Usually it's later in the season, but yeah. Just got to adapt. But I think, I don't know. I think tired is tired. I think we're both going to be exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm, obviously scientifically there's some rationale to trying your hardest to either go there early. I don't know how long it takes, but I don't think it's a month, but I think it's a week or more, or maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, I think
10
he said
days.
8 days he's going to come out in Helwani. He said it's kind of not enough time. And they had a cute little exchange.
Yeah. Like I said, he's going to be tired. I'm going to be tired.
Yeah. I've had the honor of coming to your sparring for the past year. I don't know if you've been noticing the kind of the weirdo just on the sideline enjoying, but I think it's free pay-per-views every week that I come by because you going up against Archie. Shout out to Archie Colgan, just had a baby.
Yeah, he did.
Congratulations to him. I think he's going to be a superstar.
Oh, he's definitely going to be a champ.
Yeah.
100%.
But you have, high quality training partners. Do you think you're going to bring anyone in to try to mimic DP, the Diamond, or what are you going to do different this camp?
This episode is brought to you by my firm, Strand Life Wealth Management.
At Strand Life Wealth, we've now added family office services to our clients. We have an in-house CPA and a dedicated tax planning division to go alongside the financial planning and investment management that you've come to know and trust from Strand Life. We've invested in the most innovative technology, and we now leverage the power of AI to help us create customized financial plans. For our clients who are looking to plan their legacy, we have partnerships with the top trust and estate planning attorneys so that we can help you in planning the legacy that you want to leave behind. We're independent, so we're not bound by parent company restraints. For our corporate clients, you'll still have all the same services you've come to trust. We'll still handle your group health insurance, retirement plans, as well as your commercial risk. We believe that partnering with our firm gives you the very best way to help you grow and manage your wealth and help you in achieving the goals that we've been planning together. We look forward to welcoming you to Strand Life Wealth Management.
I think, all of those decisions are, we rely on my coach, Trevor, to, I think he might. I'm not sure. I would, if I had to, I assume that he will. But if he doesn't, I won't question it. Like I said, we have a big, big room. A lot of guys on the team.
Yeah.
So, there's fighting's crazy. Obviously I need to see some similar styles, southpaw boxers. It's hard to mimic Dustin Poirier. He's very unique. But yeah, I think I'll definitely see some southpaws.
Nice. Yeah. It's funny. My podcast producer right there, we don't have a camera on him, but I was talking about the first fight between you guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you remember, the leg kicks in the first and then, blah, blah. And he was like, they fought before. And I was like, motherfucker, sit down. I put him in front of that
That's a
computer.
good
I'm like,
fight.
watch this fight. This is your homework right now. What a fight. It was one of those fights as a fan I was watching and I was just on the edge of my seat the entire fucking time.
Yeah.
I spar not as a hobby.
Yeah.
I spar.
No, it's awesome.
But
It's so fun.
I'm curious, what does it feel like? Can you describe to the audience what it feels like to not only spar, I can kind of describe, but to have a fight on the world stage, millions of people watching, you've prepared for, months on end and being in there. What is that feeling like?
The anticipation is really the killer, leading up to it. Fight week, even before that. Starting now, honestly, I'm 9.5 weeks away. So every day, it'll get a little bit more intense. But ultimately, when the fight starts, it's over. It's so fast. It's so fast to where you cannot think or see. You don't retain information. So honestly, I don't have 100%. I'm not 100% sure what it's like, because again, your ability to retain information is just not there. You're completely instinctive and intuitive, trying to be intuitive in every position. But I think the walkout is super intense. Like right when you walk in the arena, it's a different smell, the lights, the sounds. First time you see the crowd, you don't walk out there before and see it.
Yeah.
First time you walk out there is when you see it. But yeah, in the fight, it feels like sparring.
Okay.
Except just trying to be, you're just a little bit more mean.
Yeah.
More aggressive, more mean. Maybe not more aggressive. The trick is to not get caught up in everything. The lights, the people, the sounds doesn't mean a damn thing once that fight is going. I mean, it's less than inches, less than seconds, and that's the only time and space that matters in that moment. So you have to really work hard, through time and through over fights to not get caught up in it, to not allow it to become a factor. And it has to feel like sparring, but you need to understand and be aware that the danger level is extraordinarily higher, and you need to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between sparring and that, but it's the same general mindset of being comfortable in your own mind and in your own, where you're at.
And I love the relationship that you have with your coach, Trevor Whitman. I remember in that first Ferguson fight, in between rounds, he was like, "You look like you were having a fucking blast, by the way. Like you were,
I always do. I mean, when you watch the first Poirier fight, that's a whole different person. I was a crazy son of a bitch, and that is exactly who fought that fight. So, yeah, I mean, it's fun now.
Yeah. And I noticed in your Fizia fight, you changed completely. You were much more methodical, much more patient, beautiful footwork.
Yeah, same with the Ferguson fight.
Yeah, and he told you, I was going back, sorry to cut you off, but he said, take 10% off everything.
Yeah, he said that in a lot of fights.
Oh, did he?
For sure. He said that in almost every fight.
All right.
Because that's a common factor.
Yeah. But, those reminders, even as I'm sparring, if I just am told, like, work the jab or certain things that I may not be cognizant of, it helps dramatically.
Yeah, no, there's so many. Again, when you're in there, again, like when I fought Tony Ferguson, it was dead silent. And, if you hear his coaching during, I'm not, again, this is as intuitive as can be. I've worked on it. He's at every single sparring session of mine. I'm hearing him chirping, but I'm not thinking about what he's saying or really listening for it, but it's still, causing something in me, something in me is hearing it, whether it's just completely intuition, but it's allowing me to hear these things and make these adjustments on the fly, whether it's, fighting one's back foot and I look in there and I see them constantly going to this position and I'm like, okay, punch on it. I punch on it and I smoke them. And I'm like, oh shit, it works. And so there's small things like that happening at all times. The more people, the crazier the fight, the less that's a factor, I would say. But when I'm able to slow it down like I did against Tony, and not like I did against Oliveira, then all those adjustments can be made. And that's definitely when I fight the best.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love watching you two together and him. His saying is, I love that Justin Gaethje, or he'll say stuff like that. It's hilarious.
Yeah, he's very positive.
Yeah, he loves, and I'm a big fan of his. I'm a big fan of his work here with these gloves. And, I've been using them as opposed to other gloves and using hand wraps, and they're phenomenal. They're phenomenal piece of equipment. I know that I've tried Yakao, Sanibel. They're all great products.
Yeah.
But these themselves, man, they've been on my studio set. You guys aren't sponsoring me. And by the way, I will never take a sponsor. I'm just throwing that out there. This is self-produced, self-funded. It's always going to be
You might want to have a sponsor on your podcast.
Self-sponsored.
Have like a big
I'll tell you why, Mr.
Coors
Gaethje.
Light sign right here.
I'll tell you why. Well, if the numbers are right, maybe, but I own enough businesses where I can self-sponsor. I could promote myself. And I always just like promoting stuff that I have a full control over. You never know. You promote one thing, the fucking owner starts doing this and that.
Yeah, you
and
can
then
do shit through like Patreon and stuff.
Yeah. So, but anyways, I love, and you're not paying me. I'm just using you as an example of good quality products and why the UFC didn't do a deal with you guys, because as a guy who loves just learning about businesses and how they function, and Onyx, I think being the best product on the market, why the fuck didn't you guys get a deal with the UFC? These are the best on the market.
I think, when we went into that meeting, we're still such a young company in the grand scheme of things. And I think we're 7 years in now. I mean, he started making this in his basement, probably 2014, 2015, 2016, probably 2018 until we had the finished product where it's at now. And now we're still making changes. But yeah, I've been lucky enough to see the whole evolution of the company. But I think when we went into that conversation, which was, I don't even know, 2018 or something, we were so young, maybe 4 years in. And I think, that was just after they had just sold for $4 billion. And I think that was, a big dog going, and we're trying to have a conversation with, a small dog.
Yeah. No, I think timing.
I was thinking timing was definitely the biggest factor, I think.
Timing is everything in business as well. What is the patented technology that you guys have?
Yeah, it's the X Factor. So it's the strapping system. So there's 2 straps in our gloves. You see the X on the back of the hand. Each strap is connected all the way through and makes an X across the back of your hand. The types of foams we use, heat moldable foam. But the strapping system is what we have officially patented, and that allows you to, I've never used a hand wrap in one of these gloves. I don't think you need a hand wrap as long as you're tightening them correctly.
Yeah.
The X on the back of your hand is just like when they pinch gloves in boxing, it pulls everything up and in, and that's the support that you need to stop these fractures.
I love it,
stuff
man.
like that.
Dude.
And then the padding allows for no bone-on-bone contact to make sure you don't break your hand.
Yeah, being a fighter, man, those hand wraps, fucking getting launched.
Disgusting. I haven't used a hand wrap in 6 years. So I don't even know how to wrap my hand.
I will throw you under the bus if you don't mind. We can edit this out. I've heard you've been forgetting your gloves at sparring multiple times.
The last 2 times.
And someone's been hooking you up. Shout out to our boy Rich Marquette Show.
He hooked me up with some
What's
gloves.
up, man? You got to take your gloves. I sometimes
it sucks when I don't have my gloves that Trevor made because
molded to your hands and everything.
I mean, yeah, there's so much knuckle exposed in these other gloves. Other gloves. I smoked Taiwan with my lead knuckle on an uppercut. So that wasn't good. But yeah, I have them. They were I took them to the gym because on a Saturday Archie wanted to go in there and work out. So I told him, let's do something fun and we'll just tech spar. So I took the gloves, left them, and
I get it, man. Listen, I forget.
I had them yesterday.
I forget cup and my mouthpiece all the time, and so that just kind of ruins.
Yeah, I don't
sparring.
wear a cup, but I don't forget a mouthpiece.
You don't wear a cup?
I've never worn a cup in sparring.
How many times have you had accidents?
Never.
Good for you. You got some good dick defense, if you want to call it. I mean,
you're just checking kicks.
Yeah, I guess I get teeped to the fucking. I can't get that teep out of the way.
Yeah.
A good teep, dude.
You shouldn't scoop it. I don't scoop it.
What do you do? Just elbow block?
Block it down with your forearm, but ultimately you're stepping off so that it's never, hitting you square.
Yeah. Well,
if it's hitting you, it's probably sliding off your dick.
Yeah, I always wear a cup, man.
Get your sack, yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Your sack's the only vulnerable part.
Yeah, I have a vasectomy, so that shit is
sack is still
super
still
sensitive.
Vulnerable.
Yeah. What a topic we're talking about. I love it.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I don't know. I know a lot of fighters. Unless you're usually when you get kicked in the dick, it's when you're pulling away from things. Trying to get away, get your hips away.
Damn.
Leg kick goes up to the groin.
You just leave that shit all exposed.
No, I
That's
have everything
brave.
blocked.
You never know, man. Something can slip by. And then you're going to be in excruciating pain. Have you ever got hit?
Have I ever got hit in the nuts? Absolutely.
Yeah. So and then you want
no,
kids?
I don't want that to happen. No, yeah, I don't. I don't have kids yet. I want children.
Okay.
I agree.
So can we get this
Dwayne
guy?
Ludwig had a ball sack burst.
Oh,
in
God.
sparring.
Let's get you a cup shield
I have a
sponsor.
Cup. I have a cup. I wear it to fight. It's a special night.
I love it. I love it, man. Well,
just don't get hit in the dick.
Dude, what do you mean? If we're like, fuck.
Nah, I'm blocking that shit.
Hey, you love that fucking dirty boxing, you fuck clinch.
Yeah, my dick's way down there.
But what if someone knees you?
Well, that's an option.
God, you're ruthless with your fucking junk.
That's an option.
You got to protect that thing.
Nah, it's good.
All right.
It's good.
You have a wife or girlfriend? You have a girlfriend, right?
Girlfriend, yep.
Does she recommend you protect that
She
thing?
doesn't know a damn thing about fighting.
Neither does.
So no.
My girl doesn't know.
She has
anything
no
about
clue
anything.
that if I wear it, she doesn't even know what a cup. She probably does, but
Yeah.
she doesn't even probably never thought if I wore one or not.
That's awesome, man. The other thing I want to talk about is you mentioned on a few interviews that you've hinted at, how many more of these you're going to have. You've had obviously more of your career behind you than you have in front of you.
Yeah.
In an ideal world, you get this victory. What's next for you, man?
Yeah, with this victory comes the shot. Benil's going to, hopefully beat Oliveira June 10th.
Mm-hmm.
He'll fight Islam in October, and then I'll fight the winner of that fight.
If they came to you and instead offered you just a big money fight, kind of like what they're doing now, how important is the shot versus just, as you mentioned, opportunity in business?
I think any big fight like that is still a step towards that. There's no big fight that's outside of, a title shot. Those guys got a fight in October still. So the fight that I would be looking to have would be, February, March, April. For the next,
Okay.
I don't know when they would want to fight, obviously, but
So you fight maybe 2 times a year, and then you keep saying this phrase that I fucking love. By the way, you say, "I love the chaos of it, and I love the downtime in between."
yeah, fast and then slow.
Yeah.
It was super slow, 2-3 weeks ago, and then now it's just boom, game time, fast.
That
fast,
transition from like slow to fast, what does that do to you? Does that turn you into a different person, or at this point in your career, are you just, here we go, another training camp?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much just that, just time to work. Obviously I'm doing work in between these fights. I'm not just doing nothing, but yeah, just everything. Every choice I make from now until that day is going to be a factor. And so why, I'm not going to waste time. It's just get into it and start a routine, get the routine going and don't mess it up.
Fuck yeah, man. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast, my man. I really do
yeah.
appreciate it. I am excited. I will be at your fight. I'll try to get some really good seats.
Are you coming to the golf tournament?
I will be at the golf tournament. I will be the hole-in-one sponsor for you, man. So
yeah, I'm doing a Hero Sports. So yeah,
shout them out, man. Hero
This is our
Sports.
second year I'm doing a golf tournament for them. I've been working with them since 2015. I went out to train with Frankie Edgar in New Jersey, and he was like, "Hey, we got this celebrity softball game tonight. You want to come?" Went there. I wasn't on the team, obviously, because they didn't even know I was going to be there. So I went and hung out with these guys, and it was the Hero Sports team. And they're out of Texas. And Mike Barker, he's the CEO, founder. And he's been doing big things ever since, again, we're 8 years in now. And, they're doing 15, 20 times as many events. They get tickets in all states. Different veterans have opportunities to go to concerts, baseball games, different games. They do intramural sports where they put intramural teams together, softball teams, volleyball teams.
To be the hole-in-one sponsor, it's $10,000 grand prize. If you can get that hole-in-one, you said you got 6 inches away last time?
Yep, last year.
So if you get it, you're going to get a nice prize, my man.
That would be awesome. I would donate it to Hero Sports.
Boom. Love it. Hero Sports.
Then I'd make them take me hunting. They go hunting, different hunting. I've been hunting with them last probably 8 years out in Texas.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Texas hunting is kind of cheating, but still tastes good.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks again, my man. Super excited. And thanks, everybody. We'll see you. Cheers.
All right.
Boom. Thanks, brother.
Yes, sir.